So luckily, our research this year has helped us develop a model of practical empathy that helps both define what empathy can look like in the workplace and offer insight into actionable ways that empathy can be practiced. So here's our sort of definition of a model of practical empathy. So more specifically, we define practical empathy as a practice of care that focuses on the experience of the individual, grounded in understanding, shaped by multiple perspectives, and backed by supportive action. And lastly, guided by appropriate boundaries.
I really like this model and this way of thinking about empathy because it seems that what's been missing from previous definitions of empathy is that emphasis on practicality and actually appropriate boundary setting.
Exactly. Empathy in a workplace setting is about understanding, but also about knowing boundaries for both ourselves and others. So, how do we get there? Well, one key element that we found is seeking understanding, which is also sort of a larger part of our practical empathy index that came out of our research this year. This index is comprised of the attributes that we found contribute to employees feeling a sense of practical empathy at work. In addition to seeking understanding, practical empathy is listening to learn. It's embracing employees' perspectives and focusing on the person. Perhaps unsurprisingly, when leaders and organizations seek to understand, it supports practical empathy as well by fostering a better sense of what supportive actions might look like for employees, as well as understanding and respecting boundaries. So, Daniel, would you mind telling us a little bit about how Southwest Airlines practices practical empathy on the ground or in the air?
Absolutely. So did you know that Southwest Airlines, their stock ticker is LUV? It is, and for a very good reason. Their company's culture is well known for embracing empathy. James Ashworth, their VP of Customer Support and Services, explains it this way. He said, quote, "We have to know our internal and external customers, be empathetic to their needs and expectations, and focus our efforts on them," end quote. And I have to say, this is actually more than just a warm, fuzzy philosophy. When the company recently heard employees said that their tools were actually getting in the way of doing their best work, leadership jumped in to better understand the problem through a series of focus groups with those directly involved, and then they quickly deployed new solutions based on what they learned. To help employees know their voices are heard and valued, leaders at Southwest focus on learning rather than blaming or disciplining, and they encourage people to speak up and solve issues as they arise. Southwest's people-centered, empathetic culture, as a result, has led to 44 consecutive years of profitability, no layoffs or furloughs in its company's history, which is amazing, and a whopping 85% of employees who say they're proud to work at the company.
Wow, I think that last statistic is particularly impressive. 85% who say they're proud to work at the company. Very, very, very impressive.